Good morning, chaps. Don't know if you're going to find this video interesting or not. It's I'm filming as I'm going along, so I've recently taken an interest in lapidary. I confess I know nothing about the subject, but what little I have, I watched a couple of videos, and I thought I'd like to try my hand at it. But as I say, I'm a complete and utter novice, so if I make a few faux pas, you'll have to make allowances for that. But I'm learning as I'm going along, you know. Anyway, by what I can see, and I could be wrong of course, it seems more of an interest in the United States than it is in the UK. As a lad, we're going back many years, I remember doing tumbling polishing, pebbles he picked up off the beach and put them in a drum, you know, the sort of thing you've probably done it yourself. But I'd sort of like to try my hand at cutting rocks and, you know, exploring that a little bit differently. So I've looked around for trimming, slab saws, trim saws. They're very expensive. I don't know whether because it's a niche market or I'm missing something, quite possibly. Anyway, I thought, well, see, I can make something myself. You know the way I work. I don't like parting with money, and I sort of got an affection for it. So I've looked down in my workshop and see what I can find. Well, I've got several motors. This is a nice old motor. It's probably larger than I want, but I've got it. But it turns in a clockwise direction. There's quite a lot to do. And I've looked around for various shaftings, and large ones, small ones, a nice neat little one there for mounting a diamond blade on. And I've looked around for belts. Well, I've got nothing small, but I've got boxes and boxes of bigger ones than these. And then I've looked at different pulleys and different sizes of pulleys and different gaps and different fittings and I don't know. And there's multiple size ones there. And I thought, well, this is really getting more complicated than I want. Why go down this route? Okay, it's ultra simple, I suppose. But why not put the blade directly on the motor? Damn it, forget all the belts and the pulleys and things. So that's what I'm going to do. I've ordered a couple of, I think I've ordered an 8-inch and a 6-inch trim saw blades, diamond coated blades. So I'm going to make a little trim saw. They haven't come yet, but when they do, I'm going to mount it directly to the shaft. So how am I going to do that? I'll probably have to, you can buy, ooh, sorry I said that word. You can get mandrels that will go on there, but getting them to fit your shaft, your wheel, everything else, it's easy to make me own, so that's what I'm going to do. So I've measured this shaft, and that's 16 millimeters. This one's got a keyway in it. I found a 16mm large drill. Well, that can go in the lathe, and I can bore out a piece of bar. I've got a piece of heavy bar here. It's only mild steel, but we are learning as we go. Now, because this turns in a clockwise direction, I'm going to want a nut or a bolt or whatever I do to tighten the blade up to go with a left hand thread. So that's going to be fun. If not, I should be able to keep trying to tighten it up, and I don't think you can over tighten these blades up. And I'm just simply going to arrange it that the blade is the tip of it is just simply in a bath of water, and then a table at sort of that height, and then perhaps a cover over the blade to stop sort of bit of splashing. So definitely on a learning curve here today. I can't do too much until the blades and sizes come that I can definitely work out. But I've abandoned this idea of shafting. Bearings, I've got loads of them. I don't, you know, why add more to it? That's I know you've got the choice of gearing and so forth, but you've also got added complications. And I only want to try it after all. I've had a look at eBay at some of the sort of professional type machines, and as I've said, they're tremendous price. I really don't want to go down that road. Some of the really old vintage machines, I like the simplicity of those. So I might come up with something later on if I pursue this laboratory interest. So if, like me, you're on a bit of a learning curve, this is the beginning of the video. Hope you like it. This is my Mark 1 prototype machine. As you can see, I've mounted the motor on a wooden base and secured it down. I've mounted the mandrel on the shaft and fitted a 6-inch blade. The blade has a 20mm bore, and I've made myself a tank, and this I've bent up, this shape, out of some sheet tin I had, but because it's got a sort of a plastic motley coating, I couldn't weld up a complete tank. So what I've done here, I've got some thick acrylic, and I've drilled it, put some self-tappers in and bolted the whole thing together, front and back. So that represents my tank. I've run some mastic round the inside, both sides, to make it watertight, because this is where my coolant will be. And the advantage of the Perspex is that when you put in coolant, you can see exactly where the level is, and it's about 1/4 of an inch from the tip of the blade, so that's about right. I've put 2 parallel rails along the top here, just slightly sunk down, and I've made a, let's pan back a bit, I've made a tabletop to go on top. It's going to want, what was that noise? Don't know. It's going to want a splash piece here and a bit at the front also, otherwise I'm going to be covered in water, aren't I? Anyway, that's the progress so far. I'm quite pleased. I have a larger blade, but I don't have any material to make a mandrel for that, so I may have to revert back to a shaft and belts and things, but I'll try and avoid that if I can. But anyway, we'll just concentrate on the trim saw, as the other one will be for cutting slabs, which I will have gravity fed weight. I just start it up and let it carry on, and then at the end of the travel there can be a, you know, a micro switch, stop switch. So semi-automatic if you like. But anyway, that's a little bit down the road. So this is the progress so far. I hope I haven't made too many mistakes. We'll find out when I come to use it, won't I? I brought the machine out here as it does tend to throw a bit of water mist about, and we don't end up with rusty tools. But anyway, we'll give it a try. I'll pan back a bit. Had no trouble going through that. We went through that bevel perfectly well as well. What's this, I wonder? Let's have a look. camera probably doesn't show that up that well. But, oh, that's rather nice. Okay, so I think it works. We've got to rethink the water arrangement, as it tends to throw it about all over the shop, which is why I brought it out here. With a prototype, I think you can see it works rather well, which has encouraged me to progress the interest a bit further. I hope you enjoyed that.